So over the last 2 years, we have this very detailed structured process that goes over the first 4 weeks, where we take over the complete supply chain of the brand. And we start like in the first week, we have a process where we take in all the inputs from the brand owner to understand their inventories, where they are, in which 3PL, where are the orders overall, if they are not using any system. So in the first week, we takes all those inputs, and then we have two calls with the client and maybe their team, their supply chain team, or whoever is managing the supply chain, and we understand how their supply chain is operating. So once we have these calls in the first weeks and the structured data system that we provide to them, we understand their supply chain completely end to end. And over the next 3 weeks, it goes on by structuring the processes. So we first start with creating the process. For example, as an Amazon seller, it is very important to have the replenishment process. So we start our second week by having the proper replenishment process, so that we make sure in this transition period, as we are as agencies coming in and their team is pulling back from that area, we make sure that the Amazon replenishments are not affected. So we first start creating a process on the replenishments. In the second phase, then we go towards the forecasting. So that is where we need slight inputs from the seller to make sure we analyze the products correctly, understand the past trends. For example, if something is running out of stock in past, we need to understand and accommodate for that in the future forecast to make sure we have the reliable data and reliable forecast that is like 70 to 80% accurate, and it gives us the right demand plan for the next quarters. So we will start with getting the right data, then we will create the replenishment process, then we go towards the SKU level forecasting, then we go towards the demand planning, where we let them know like this is your current stock level for each product, and this is something that you need to order for the next quarter. So usually we plan according to the quarters, and we place small orders to make sure our cash is efficient, because in that way we run the demand plan continuously in a bi-weekly way, and that helps us in giving us like small orders and good cash control of the business. So demand planning, once the demand planning is done, then we move towards, in the third and fourth week, we move towards how we can improve the business profitability. So there we find the quick wins. For example, one of the best quick win that we actually see for most of the businesses is in freight cost. So we have 4 to 5 freight companies that we are working with over the last 3 years, and we help them to, for example, if they have a new PO that is coming in, we will take the quotes from their forwarder as well as our forwarders, and each forwarder has a different relation with each shipping lane. So whatever forwarder can provide us with a good shipping cost and a good timeline, we will go with that. And that directly adds up to like 5 to 10% saving in your freight cost. So that is like a direct win in the third week that we provide to the client. And in that way, we see like what kind of cost can be improved, maybe in 3PL, maybe in shipping, or maybe like looking for a new supplier. So we create a timeline of that in the third week. In the fourth week, we create a process on how we can create a recurring reporting structure while maintaining all these previous processes that we earlier created. So we create a detailed KPI dashboard, which includes all the important supply chain KPIs. That includes like inventory, turnover, out of stock, excess situations, and a detailed overview of your shipments and orders. And we create that final dashboard and structure a weekly call with the client to help them understand how their supply chain is operating, and then also take their inputs in a weekly way to make sure we have this structure repeated each week in a detailed way to make sure we take things forward. So again, my answer was quite long, but this is like a 4-week process that we have to get the client onboarded and create all our systems, and then it is managed on a recurring basis each.